Thanks, thanks, Nileshwar, for having me as a speaker on this forum. Thanks, all the organizers. Uh, Today, actually, this will be a more of discussion and more of question answer session. And actually, the journey of Sahyadri Farms and the challenges that we faced during the export and how Sahyadri as a team tried to overcome the challenges and how it went as a, I can say, a big game changer in the agricultural sector, and what are the things that needs to be done. Still, there are many things to be done in future. As Nilesh sir said, Sahyadri is well-known brand now. It's Most of the agricultural firms are looking as a role model towards the Sahyadri, how this can be replicated in various countries or various states of the countries, and how the farmers will get benefited from out of this such ventures. So Sahyadri is all about the farmer producer organization and keeping farmers at the center, how they will get maximum benefit from this venture. That is all about the vision of Sahyadri, how the farmers will get benefit and how this venture becomes sustainable to all the stakeholders who are involved in this. When you come towards any venture, sustainability is the can say major aspect, and sustainability comes with the profitability. Of course, there are other things also that comes under sustainability. Plus, profitability is the center of any business, and when it comes to the profitability, that means whoever is involved in this entire supply chain of this continuous process, they should be profitable. Once, if any of the stakeholder or any of the member of the supply chain is not happy or is not involved directly, that means the entire supply chain will get collapsed. This is the overall thought process. And being a farmer as a major stakeholder in this organization, and all other stakeholders are the supporting to the farmers, how all other can support with the same vision, with the same objective or goal. That is the biggest challenge, you can say, in the export of fresh produce. The fresh produce is having limitations as compared to processed products, particularly with respect to the perishability and the seasonability. That means you have to do all the activities within a certain stipulated time, and that is where it comes the time management to overcome this challenge. So time management is very important in this fresh produce export. When it comes to the time management, that means whatever the life cycle of that particular fruit or vegetable or any live commodity, that its understanding is very important. It's not when it's harvested, but it's throughout the life cycle, right from the seeding of or plantation of that particular you can say commodity. So this chain starts from there. In fresh fruits and vegetables, actually, most of the work is need to be completed. It's to be completed at the field level, farm level itself. Rather, I would say 70 to 80% work has to be done before the harvesting. So this fresh produce export, I can divide it into two parts. One is pre-harvest and other is post-harvest. The pre-harvest part is very important. So for any commodity, let's take example of grapes or pomegranate or banana or anything. I mean, whatever the drumsticks, oranges, whatever is being exported, the apples. Look, you first you should know the requirements of the customers with respect to the quality, with respect to the volumes of that particular country of that commodity, with respect to the regulatory requirements of that particular commodity of that country where you want to export. So these are things: customer requirements, regulatory requirements, and the overall cycle of that particular commodity. So here the main thing lies in these three parts, because whatever needs to be grown, that needs to be grown as per the customer requirement or as per the regulatory requirement. And if you know the requirements in proper manner, then you can have all the controls at the field itself to grow. Because after harvesting, there is not much things that you need to do, particularly with respect to the chemical hazards. I'm saying physical hazards and the biological hazards can be taken care during the post harvest, but the chemical hazards and some physical attributes of the fruits, like its size, color, its TSS content, the texture, So that needs to be taken care at the field itself, while planting, while growing of the fruit. And this actually journey starts with the soil management itself. So soil is very important parameter to grow all these, to have these all these parameters in particular commodity. And considering that, Sahyadri has invested prominently at the pre-harvest stage, how the farmers can achieve the particular quality, the particular yield of that product, so that the quality and efficiency is managed at field itself. For example, I would say in developed countries, in Chile, okay, and in most of the developed countries where the farming is very advanced, okay, their acreage per their yield per acreage is almost double or triple than the India, whatever we are growing in India. And whatever is growing in India is also having some quality problems, not only grapes, overall all the commodities. That's why I mean, we are not able to actually contribute in exporting the fresh fruits and vegetables, or processed fruits and vegetables. We are not actually contributing globally in larger volumes and contributing in higher percentages, because we are not able to meet the global requirements of quality as well as the efficiency, or you can say the pricing part. So that is the biggest problem. And Sahyadri's first exercise was, I mean, how that can be solved, the quality and the quantity at the field level. So for that, it's not possible for an individual farmer to tackle these global farmers, because he don't have that capacity to fight with all the challenges. The challenges with respect to knowing the information, then executing it, then having efficiency with the volumes, because an individual farmer cannot actually compete to the global norms, or he cannot actually have that efficiency. So that Sahyadri decided, let's have uh, let's have a program. Let's understand the mindset of the farmers in this particular scenario, where whether the farmers are willing to come together, yes or no. What are the things that we need to do to have one platform for all the farmers, so that they can come together and they can start working together to overcome this particular challenge of quality and efficiency. So as I mentioned, profitability is the key, and profitability comes only with the efficiency in the supply chain. And this efficiency starts from the farmers itself. If I am growing a particular commodity and I am only growing a 15 ton or 20 ton per acre, the global average is around 40 or 50 ton per acre with that required quality, then how can an individual farmer can compete? So that is the question mark. And for that, this Sahyadri is actually established to unite the farmers, to have a common vision, common goal towards, and action should be there towards that common goal. So everybody is aligned with that action, and everybody is getting benefit of that action. So that is the first thing that Sahyadri has done. And it was not in 2011 that Sahyadri established. Actually, this started right from 2004, this activity. But it has taken a shape from 2011 and 2012. There is a lot of hard work behind that. And once that challenge is overcome, the next challenge is how to maintain the post-harvest chain efficient, which can deliver the harvested quality, whatever is harvested, the same quality is being delivered to the consumer, till the consumer end. That is the next. But the first part, as I mentioned, is the key. And if that is overcome, the 50-60% or rather 70% of your supply chain is become efficient. Now it's all about the mindset, it's all about the approach. It's all about knowing the right information, what exactly needs to be done, that I can club together as a vision. So particularly vision is very important in this fresh produce, all these things. And for exporting or domestic, I mean, whatever you can take as a fresh produce. Okay. Once the farmer grows the right quality and right produce, now the harvesting technique, the harvesting mechanism, the temperature management of that particular fresh commodity, then how to avoid the physical damage during the harvesting, during the transportation, during the handling, what are the things to be done. Let's say, for example, I mean, the grapes, these are very delicate fruits. I mean, these are prone to the physical damage, because it has a soft skin and soft in nature. So what should be the quantity that needs to be loaded in truck, how it's loaded in the trucks. So what are the sizes of crates and what kind of cushions to be provided? It will not affect the physically the grapes, as well as it should not impart any chemical hazard to the grape. And also it will be very comfortable for the yeah, handling to the persons who are actually handling it, so that the physical damage to be avoided in that. So, I mean, in that way, we came across few challenges, the produce getting damaged while harvesting, while actually getting transported, while handling, while packing. I mean, that are the challenges, and that has overcome over the period of times. If I'm losing 7, 8, 10% at every stage, then that has reduced to 1 or 2% at every stage. Initially, the losses were around 14%, 15%, up to 20% during the entire supply chain. Now it has been reduced to 5 to 6%. Now this is what the efficiency. I mean, if you want to compete with the global markets, the customers will not hike price yearly. I mean, they need good quality material always at a lower price. In fact, they demand lower prices than the last year or the previous years. Okay, so for that, your supply chain needs to be efficient, and these are the ways how you can actually prevent your produce damaging in the supply chain. When it comes to the fresh produce, the chemical management at the you can say field level is very important. Apart from these physical losses and all these things, we also came across some chemical challenges like the pesticide residues and heavy metals. Is actually getting more as per the I mean standard, whatever the benchmark is there. Because in export market, can say there are different regulations of the different countries. I mean, you need to know what are the things, particularly in residue management, that needs to be achieved. This is called MRL, maximum residual level. So for grapes, I mean, there are almost 210 pesticides. If you go in European, they have almost 450 pesticides. Okay, so that needs to be whatever the MRLs are given, that needs to be achieved, and how that is to be achieved. So agronomy plays a very important role in the pre-harvest stage. How it be controlled at the field level as far as the chemical residues are concerned. And once the chemical residues are controlled with proper soil management, water management, nutrition management. I mean, these are the things that need to be taken care at field level. But as India, I mean, we need to take help of some external consultants also a few times, because competency is not there within India with respect to certain problems of chemicals. So what are the things have been followed globally? How they have overcome that problems? So we also we also taken the advices from the global scientists to overcome these challenges of pesticide residues, to overcome the challenges of the other issues with respect to the physical parameters in the grapes and other produce as well to meet the global demand. Now, this has been streamlined with the pre-harvest and post-harvest management from the last 10, 15 years overall as a grape industry that has been evolved in the particularly Nasik area, in the Sangli area, some parts of the Marathwada like Latur area, Solapur area. Now the farmers are following the practices. Now they also understood what are the benefits if we actually follow all the practices. Initially, there was resistance to follow the practices because I mean it requires some investment to farmers also initially to adopt all these things. Then afterwards, some global gap practices has come out. I mean, few of the farmers are adopting the global gap practices, and these global gap practices actually helps all the farmers or the at the pre-harvest stage to give the required quality of raw material, and also helps in benefits in the improving the yield. So apart from all these known challenges, there are uncertain challenges associated with these fresh produce, environmental challenges, some global challenges are also associated with this fresh produce harvest. I mean, environmental challenges. I mean, in current scenario, I mean, uncertain rains, the atmosphere, it's changing, so that it's also affecting the fresh produce. Now, what to do? Now, this is the challenge. Now we have to overcome these challenges. Now, what Sahyadri did, tried to have such varieties to import to the India, to get to the India, which are more weather resistant. They have the limited damage to the that particular varieties that can sustain in the Indian weather, the changing weather. At the same time, that is giving more yield to the farmers. So several varieties has been imported by the Sahyadri, and some R&D is carried out at the field level. Now, from last 2 to 3 years, these varieties started exporting and getting good results. Now you can see the conventional varieties will get replaced by these new varieties over a period of time, because the old varieties are I mean quite susceptible to the changing environment, having a lot of physiological problems, the TSS problems, and the other problems, and if these are affected by such weather, that's getting less shelf life and is not getting delivered as per the required quality at the destination after 30 days or after 45 days. So these are the challenges we actually identified and overcome through these new varieties, and how this will be the future, you can say, in the grape varieties, and that can be replicated to other crops also. I mean, it's not necessary that whatever commodity or varieties we are growing in India, so that will be there forever. So as per the changing circumstances, as per the requirement, that changes needs to be done if somebody wants to export fresh produce. And once the physiological, physical, and chemical, all these things, I mean, if the challenges are overcome through the effective pre-harvest and effective post-harvest management. If you see the post-harvest management, once the produce is harvested, it's very important for any fresh produce technically, I mean, to reduce the temperature as quick as possible to remove the field heat. So if you remove the field heat as quick as possible, all the reactions will get stopped and there will be a longer shelf life to the fresh produce. Once you adopt the cold chain or refer conditions, then you need to maintain that temperature, maintain that that refrigerated or the cold chain throughout the supply chain till it delivered to the customer. So this is very crucial point. If you harvest your produce at 25 degrees Celsius, then that 25 degrees Celsius temperature should not be more than 25 at any stage of the supply chain. It should actually drastically get reduced. If you go on the website of UC Davis, that is the Californian University of UC Davis, they worked more intensively on the post-harvest management. They have developed the protocols of all the temperatures and humidity for all the fresh produce. What are the temperatures and humidities that is to be maintained during the storage and during the transportation of that fresh produce? They have given the commodity wise. Of course, I mean that may vary slightly depending the conditions, the ambient conditions. Okay, but overall, the temperature plays a very important role in post-harvest management of the fresh produce and vegetables. If you want to have a good shelf life and better quality for a longer period of time. So, for example, grapes needs to be pre-cooled at 0 degrees Celsius within 8 hours of harvesting, maximum 8 hours harvesting. If you do it within 4 hours of harvesting, that will be great. So these are the challenges. We initially actually did it after 16 hours or 20 hours, and we came across some problems having the decayed berries or having the loose berries, having the distorted berries from the bunch. Then we came to know that, I mean, these are things that needs to be strictly added. And these are like a CCPs for that particular commodity, the temperature management. Then we overcome that problem also. It not only given us the quality produce, but also actually it helped a lot in improving the efficiency in the overall supply chain. Once it reaches to the consumer as per the required conditions, then the lot of rework is avoided at a customer end, because if the quality is not good, if there are problems, then a customer needs reworking or resorting or all these things needs to be done at customer end. That has reduced, and this is where that efficiency has improved in the supply chain. When you stick to the temperature, I mean, not only at the I mean harvesting stage, at the pre-cooling stage, at the packing stage, but also in the logistic part. I mean, now there is a lot of awareness between all the logistic partners that how the temperature is very, very important. And this is a lot of training has been important to the drivers also, because drivers used to shed the refrigeration system of the, can say, of the containers to save the fuel or to gain some economical benefit out of it. I mean, but they were not knowing the consequences of that. I mean, if I do it for 2 hours, there is sharp rise in the temperature from 0 to 10 degrees Celsius, and again when it started, it comes down to the again 3 degrees Celsius. But that sharp curve from 0 to 10 actually deteriorates, actually reduce the shelf life, because at 1,000 times the physiological activities actually becomes more aggressive in that, and the deterioration starts there itself. The keeping quality gets hampered because of that. So I mean, these are things. There are certain technical things. Some can say the awareness related things in overall supply chain. So I mean, whatever the challenges we came across, instead of blaming or instead of deteriorating the things further, I mean, how as a team that can be overcome, and what are the uh, solutions. So I mean, a lot of discussions, a lot of, you can see the information gathering actually happened throughout this journey, and what is the perfect solution for this problem. So this in this way, I mean, I can't say that it is 100% streamlined. I can say from 50% to 70% to 85-90% streamlined. There is always scope for the improvement. The new challenges definitely will come. When I say there is no, I mean, certainty regarding the weather, so definitely, I mean, this will keep on changing, and accordingly, the state needs to be taken to overcome the challenges. Here, the key point is time management. I mean, while doing the entire things from the pre-harvesting to the post-harvest management, the logistic things, entire supply chain. I mean, the time management is very, very important. In this fresh product, you can't postpone your work tomorrow. I mean, whatever has to be done at this moment. Once you came across the problem, so you need to respond, you need to rather react, other you need to have proactive measures with all these problems which are identified, or if some new problems come, then the reaction time is very, very less actually. I mean, unlike the processed foods or unlike the other commodities where the time is not that crucial. I mean, if you do the work tomorrow or maybe a month back, after the months, I mean, that will not hamper overall kind of things, because this is where, I mean, within the 2 months or 3 months or 4 months, I mean, whatever the products you take, it has a seasonable products. Within that 4 months, you need to do all the exercises. So the time management is very, very crucial. You need to be always at the alert mode. And after once you finish that particular season or particular cycle, so please get the feedback from your customers so that it will give you the triggers to prepare for the next year season, or you can see the next cycle. Depending upon the feedback, the corrective actions to be taken, maybe at the harvest stage or the post harvest stage. So, I mean, this entire supply chain actually needs a contribution from all the stakeholders proactively within the timeline for the fresh produce export. I mean, so you have to align all the stakeholders accordingly. You have to prepare their mindset accordingly. I mean, for grapes, you can say the laboratory is one of the stakeholder where all the chemical residues are being analyzed by the APEDA certified or the FSSAI certified, EIA certified laboratories. I mean, they needs to be approved by the NRC for the grapes testing. They participate in all the proficiency testing, and the score comes only the eligible laboratories actually able to do this testing. And whenever the sampling is done at the field level for the grapes, so that is very, very important that your sample should represent the entire plot. There are certain norms given by the APEDA how to sample and how to mix the sample and how to transport the sample to the laboratories. So that are the things. Once it reaches, the sample reaches to the laboratory. I mean, the preparation part, analysis part is very, very important. What happens, most of the laboratories actually they appoint the trainees for that particular season for that 3 months. This is the practical challenge actually we came across actually. And for that trainee, it's a sample. I mean, they don't see as it's a farmer's life. That sample is a farmer's life. Because if that sample fails in any parameter, the entire hard work or the entire work that farmer has done for a year, it going to win. For them, it's a sample. But as a mindset, as a Sahyadri, we actually took the meetings of that persons from the laboratories who actually does the analysis. The senior management or the top management, I mean, they're aligned, but the persons who are actually working at the ground, they should be also sensitized. What is the importance of work that they are doing? How the farmer's life is associated with your work? What are the things that you need to, I mean, take it very seriously of that? I mean, while analysis, while reading the graphs from the chromatograms, while giving the results, because 0.01 and 0.1, even a dot from here and there, it's a make or break the life of the farmer. And as I mentioned, farmer is the center point of this all entire things. So whatever the things that are affecting the farmers, that has been taken care by the Sahyadri by aligning all the stakeholders uh, with this entire chain. And that is where it became the quality and the efficient, you can see the supply chain. As I mentioned, it should benefit to farmers as well as it should benefit to the customers in terms of prices, in terms of food safety. I mean, the farmers, whatever is being growing, and the customers, whatever is getting, they both should be connected to each other. And as long as the gap between the farmers and customer get reduced. The customers should understand the farmers and the farmers should understand the customers, and that is where the summary of this talk I can put. Narrowing the gap between the farmers and the customers, that will make your supply chain efficient and quality conscious. Yes, Nilesh sir, over to you. I mean, this is what the overall.
Great. So I have one question. Hello.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, I think, Chile's example you gave, and you said their yields are around 3 times more as far as grape is concerned.
Yeah.
And you did mention that right from
Yes.
pre-harvesting to post-harvesting to other losses. So, so the losses are happening throughout, is it, or it's just that by changing the I forgot what the word you used, but changing the variety of grapes can solve a lot of these problems, or there are multiple things that will happen?
Look, I mean, varieties. I mean, that development of the varieties is going on worldwide. Okay, so which is the variety that will give the better yield, that is giving the better resistance to the weathers, that is also actually reducing the input cost at the field level in order to grow that grapes. It's also being liked by the customers or consumers with respect to taste or texture and the crunchiness, and it also has the overall increasing demand in the global market. I mean, not only grapes, I mean, that's happening in many of the crops, and definitely that will grow further. So overall, changing the variety, definitely, I mean, it's not an easy task, but having a right approach towards it and having a right research and development work at the initial stage. That Sahyadri is having own farmers and registered farmers. That it's I mean, that is very easy for us to adopt all these practices and adopt all these things. So it's a key point. As export, you need to first unite all the farmers from marginal farmers, that you need to have a area where some considerable volume will come, and the volume is also important. Scale is also important to overall manage the supply chain and reduce the cost of the supply chain.
Okay. And you're doing grapes. What other fruits or vegetables also you're doing in fresh? And this, I'm assuming, is going in cold chain and through sea or through air?
Actually, it's going through sea. Through sea.
Okay.
Mostly to the Europes and mostly to the, you can say now it has diversified to the Chinese market and the Russian markets, all these things. Okay, depends on the residual MRL
This is cold chain,
and the quality parameters. It is cold chain entirely. Once you harvest it, it's actually sorted, graded, and pre-cooled to 0 degrees Celsius and stored at 0 degrees Celsius and transported to 0 degrees Celsius. So it's entire cold chain.
Okay, sir. And any other fruit vegetables? Yeah.
Actually, bananas are being exported. Now the volume of banana is actually increasing. Again, this temperature combination is different for different fruits and vegetables. So as post-harvest level, there should be some validations to be carried out, particularly with respect to the temperatures. Though there are guidelines, as I already mentioned, there are NHB guidelines, National Horticultural Board's guidelines are also there as far as India is concerned. There is UC Davis, I already mentioned. If you can go through the website of UC Davis, California University, you will get the reference literatures for the time temperatures of that particular commodity. Bananas definitely needs to be actually have higher temperature, 14, 15 degrees Celsius, but it's prone to chilling injury. So there are different kind of temperatures and humidities for the different crops. Okay, and the pomegranate is, they are not exported, but it's being actually developed in the domestic supply chain in the fresh. Let me clear you one thing. I mean, if somebody wants to have a export 100% going into the fresh market, I rather suggest instead of going 100% fresh, it should be integrated facility. There should be some processing, because I mean, you will not get from one farm that all the whatever the quantity has been grown by the farmer that is suitable to the export. I mean, if 50%, 60% or 70% produce is suitable for export, then the question arises, what about the 30%, rest of the 30%? You can't say to the farmers that I'm only going to take this 70%, rest 30% you need to do at your own. I mean, in that way, farmers will not get associated with any of the organization, or farmers trust will not be there with the organization. So there should be some processing, or some, you can say, the integrated facility should be there. As far as grape are concerned, I mean, we have the, I mean, the pulping line, the frozen pulp of the aseptic pulp of the aseptic concentrate. We have the plan B ready for that. Even in case of any, you can say, the tragedy or in circumstances where there is a heavy rainfall or the fresh produce has 100% damage, that will get converted to the frozen concentrate or frozen juice or aseptic concentrate. So plan B is also ready, so that we can't say to the farmers that now your farm is damaged. No, we can't take that. Once you committed to the farmers, once the farmers are associated with you, now it's your duty. So don't breach the trust of that farmer. So you need to take 100% produce farm is farm. It's the duty of farmers to give the required quality, but there are certain factors which is beyond control, which as a human we cannot control. In that circumstances, that plan B is also ready. That is again one of the key factor why Sahyadri is successful, and why the farmers are trusting on the Sahyadri's policy, why farmers are eager to associate it with Sahyadri, because Sahyadri always there to support the farmers, and they will not actually allow any kind of discomfort or any kind of loss to the farmers at any circumstances. This is the key if you are handling the fresh produce.
Okay. I'll pause here. If anybody else who are attending has any questions, you can unmute and ask, sir.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Yes.
This is Vikas Kulkarni, Shrikant.
Hi. Hi.
I want to know, beside grapes and banana, any other fruit community you are expecting to growing in export market as well as domestic market?
It's rather, I would say, the citrus category fruits,
Okay.
because the main focus of Sahyadri is on the horticultural crops, particularly all the fruits, horticultural fruits. So the citrus category fruits is, where there is a lot of potential in domestic as well as the export market. Nowadays, you can see all the citrus category fruits that has been consumed as a table purpose. Particularly if you take the Mossambi, it's supposed to be the fruit for the patients. Okay, but it's not like that. If you go globally, oranges are the, you can say, most processed or most preferred processing crop, and also it's being consumed globally in large quantities as compared to the India. So citrus category fruits are the, can say, having the opportunity.
Yeah. And my second question is there. What growth you are expecting in next few years in this export and all? Tentatively based on your past
If
experience.
I go through the results, yeah, not only the fresh as far as fresh fruits and vegetables and processed fruits and vegetables as a processing, it's maybe around 7 to 12 CAGR. It's expected, and this growth will be more in the citrus processing, and you can say the citrus related crops. Now there are certain crops which are being consumed within the India, because the Indian population is you can say very big, and to cater India itself is a big challenge. Why? Most of the Indians can't afford regularly because of the fluctuation in the prices and the seasonality, all these things. If such things are available in India with the proper channel, having the limited prices and throughout the year, not throughout the year, but most of the year, and definitely there is the biggest market is there. India itself is the biggest market for all these things, and of course for export also, as I mentioned. With the conventional varieties, it's very difficult to cater the global market, because the global market, the global standards, the consumer preferences that are getting continuously changing. Not only the physical parameters as well as the chemical parameters. MRLs are getting reduced year by year. If certain pesticide is allowed 0.5%, now that has been reduced down to 0.1%, and it's continuously going on. So with the global scenario, to cope up with the global challenges, these things needs to be taken care. And obviously, the domestic market is very huge. If we go, if we go with, can say, with plans and with some sustainable way of, can say, supply chain, we can get a domestic market as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Do you also export any processed food? Like,
Yeah, most of the B2B commodities, like your mango pulp in aseptic, mango pulp in frozen, then the IQF sweet corns, IQF strawberries, most of the mixed vegetables, the okras and carrots, that is being exported in the processed forms. Also, I mean, we are the largest processor of tomato into tomato paste. Earlier, I mean, before 5 years, most of the tomato paste is getting imported from the China, because the Indian tomato paste is not having the consistent quality as well as the pricing part. Now this also we overcome, and from last 3 years we are the largest processor of tomatoes. Almost approximately 2 lakh metric ton of tomatoes being converted to the tomato paste with the good quality and the consistent pricing. And that is also, we have taken some learnings from the grapes to integrate the tomato farmers as well. Global benchmark is to have 80 ton of tomatoes per acre. That is the yield. And what Indian farmers are getting 20-25 tons from last 2 years. I mean, it was initially 15 tons, 10 tons itself. So we are targeting how we can achieve that benchmark so that the farmers' profitability will get increased. And the same protocol is now getting followed for the tomatoes, for the sweet corns. So these are the commodities for the oranges. And Sahyadri has also taken the citrus processing plant, which is located at Nanded from last 2 years, and we are also the largest orange processors in India, having the various orange byproducts as well as the main the frozen orange juice concentrate as a product. And one more thing I would like to add here, I mean, when you come to the processing, so whatever the byproducts getting generated out of the processing, uh, these are acting as the ingredients for some of the, can say, the nutraceutical products or the pharmaceutical products. For example, if we are processing the can say pomegranate. The pomegranate peel is a source for the antioxidant, natural antioxidant. If you are processing the citrus, I mean the citrus peel oil, and the citrus peel itself is a byproduct where can have a pectin from citrus peel, the oil from the citrus peel, the citrus fibers. I mean, look, these all practices are already there, followed globally, and how entire byproducts can be converted to a main products. In fact, they have the more value as compared to the main product. And these are being utilized in pharmaceutical products, in nutraceutical products, in cosmetics. I mean, where we can give the maximum benefit to our farmers if the entire parts of these fruits are utilized and converted into the you can say the main products or the ingredients from out of it. If you go in exhibitions or anything, just like HIFI or any ingredient exhibitions, and you can see a lot of such products, and most of these products are being imported in India. So there is a huge potential within the India to manufacturing of such products and distribute such products. This will definitely empower the Indian farmers, empower the Indian economy, also empower the Make in India concept, and which we are heavily relying on the import of certain particularly the pharmaceutical. We are heavily relying on the imports for. You have the examples of ashwagandha and all these things which are herbs, but I'm talking about the whatever you are processing, whatever the byproducts are getting generated from that, only you can have this products. And Sahyadri is actually well into advance and manufacturing few of the products and into some price of few products, and maybe in coming years we will also have full-fledged of products of coming out of these byproducts. Also, to support all these things, whatever the byproducts are there, that is getting converted to the energy through the biogas. In fact, we have the largest biogas, and energy is being generated. This is also the, can see the carbon, it helps in the carbon credits towards the global, toward as a opportunity towards reducing the global warming, as a India's practice to utilize all these sources to generate the energy and to reduce the you can say overall water consumption and overall you can see the conventional types of energy resource consumption. So these are the things, I mean, just do not consider a commodity just for the fresh produce. You can have an integrated approach. How I can utilize the 100% whatever is grown in the farm in various formats, and that integrated approach will bring the efficiency. That integrated approach will actually give the sustainability to the business.
Okay, great. I think we are at 11:30, so I take this opportunity. Maybe if you can, sir, put your email address or some way how they people, if they want to reach out to you, maybe if you can put the email address in the chat box, and then
Just a minute.
Yeah. whoever want to reach out to you via email, they can do that. And probably they can visit. I think you allow factory visits, right? At Sahyadri Farm?
Yes, yes. And one more thing, good that you mentioned. Sahyadri Farm is open to all for the visit. I mean, not only the agriculture institutes, but also all the, you can say, government representatives, the government authorities, the colleges, the institutes, everyone actually visiting. Almost 500, 1,000 visitors are daily visiting the Sahyadri, and you can visit. I rather urge if you can visit between the December to April, because the you can see, you can also visit at any time, but this is where the grape season is live, and you can see the live grape packing at the pack house in India's largest pack house. You can see all the operations. So I mean, you are all requested and to visit and to see to know more about this Sahyadri.
And I believe you also have an
Yeah, I
incubation
mean,
center,
one push.
where
Yeah,
FPOs are
it is also
incubated, right?
incubation center. We nurture the FPOs. We handhold them. We provide all kind of assistance to them. Once you visit, I mean,
Yeah.
you will get all the idea and all the information. So you will get more information regarding Sahyadri. You can also visit the website of sahyadrifarms.com. You can get some inputs from that. No, winemaking, we are not into the winemaking. One more question: how do you handle delays in perishable exports? I mean, sir, the factors which are within our control, we are proactively prepared for that. We have our own risk management or context. What can be the probable reasons for delay, and what are the actions? Just like emergency preparedness, that procedure is there. For example, if there is a strike of the transporters, then what are the options? Because it requires all the supply chain, refer supply chain. If there is just like a corona-like situation that comes, okay, that is a factor beyond control. Then how we can reduce it? What are the ways that is always thought of on this thing? So emergency preparedness, factors within the control, factors beyond the control. You need to list down all the things and need to have your mitigation plan for that.
So I think, thank you for your time today. I know it's Sunday, and finding time out of your busy schedule.
Not an issue.
Take this opportunity to thank you on behalf of AFSTI as well as CASMB. And I hope people who have attended today have learned a lot, and will definitely visit Sahyadri Farms to see with their own eyes
Yeah.
the great
Yes.
success story of, and special acknowledgement to Vilas Shinde sir for his
Yes.
grit and determination for last 20 plus years.
All is vision, and actually, it requires a vision. It requires a courage. It requires, I mean, team, identify the team and carry the team with that belief. I mean, a lot of things, I mean, it requires to do. Yeah.
So do communicate our great wishes and congratulations, and I'm sure Sahyadri Farms will continue the journey that
Sure,
it's
sure,
already
sure.
embarked on. Okay. With this, I conclude today's session, and thank you very much, Srikanth sir, once again.